Heyo, g'day fellow Bluey fans. I'm Brendan.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Marty.
And hello, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Hammerbarn Project, a new podcast that these two blokey blokes and I have whipped up. Because, sure, that as the title suggests, we still love going to an hardware store and DIYing it ourselves and such. But it's 2021, for pity's sake, and finally, real men can also do things like use the magic of the podcast format to declare their undying love for the children's television program Bluey, because it's an adorable masterpiece. So please sit, stay, and join us as we try to figure out how in the world the genius creators of this one-of-a-kind show somehow managed to jam-pack every episode with all the feels, yet still make it the most wholesome kind of hilarious, and how the most human show on TV can somehow be full of only cartoon dogs.
This episode of the Hammerbarn Project is called The Intro.
Now, this being our introductory episode, let's go no further without introducing the lads. He's the big dog who had the big idea and already all the podcast gear. My main man, Frank. How you going, Frank?
Good, mate. How are you guys going?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Oh, we've heard enough from you. Thanks, mate.
Yes.
Look, as Brenny said, my name is Frank. I originally pitched the idea to the lads. We'd, as Marty will get to when he talks about himself, we're both sort of relatively new dads, and you talk about all the things that, and does your kid love this and what do they love? And I said, have you heard of Bluey? And Marty's like, no. I said, mate, get on Bluey. You need to watch this show.
Nice.
And it sort of spun out from there. So yeah, my son he's about 1.5 now. Just started walking the other day, which is exciting. So
I did not know this.
Yes, that is only about three days old, that information.
That's what you get for pressing record before you actually catch up with your mates. That's awesome, man.
Yep. So it's been a long time coming for him, which is nice. Look, and if I had to, one quick sort of Bluey related story. My wife was very familiar with the fact that I love the show, and I would regularly watch it when my son is fast asleep, and there is no shame in that whatsoever. And she, I think it was for Christmas, we got done all our presents. She goes, "Hey, I've got one more little thing for you," and it was a blue T-shirt in the blue that we all know and love, with Bandit on the front and just the words "Dad" in the Bluey font. It was a Bluey T-shirt essentially, and I've put it on. Jax, my son, has seen it for the first time, comes crawling over to me. I pick him up, and he points at my chest and starts going, "Duh, duh." And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is what's going to make you say Dad? Because he recognised it. He recognised it from the show.
Oh, man. I do. How far in are we? And I'm already about to, cry.
We haven't even got to the moral of the story part yet.
Oh, man, sorry. I'll back off.
No, I meant moral of the story in the Bluey episode.
Right.
Yeah, look, that's just a little Bluey anecdote that I like. I even wore that same T-shirt to... there was a toy festival that I'm a part of, and sort of I was selling my toys and stuff at this thing. And at a place like this, there's Transformers T-shirts, there's Ninja Turtles T-shirts, lots of cool nerd stuff T-shirts. I wore this Bluey T-shirt thinking this is going to be a laugh. The amount of people that I got more recognition from that than I had from some of my best Ninja Turtle T-shirts, because they were just like, Bluey, great show. P.S. Can I buy this Transformer from you? So it was a wonderful cross-section and a way to get it out there.
And you are not, you're not slumping in your Ninja Turtle T-shirt game.
Some
of those
it's
are
very
primo.
strong.
So that's saying a lot. Well, thanks, Frank, for for thinking of this idea involving me. And, you've known me for over 20 years now,
yes.
And you still letting me have a microphone. So,
yeah, things we do.
You haven't learnt your lesson. It's not only you, Frank, that I've got with me. No. Folks, please put your paws together and wag your tails for the man who lives in New South Wales, Muddy. How you going over there, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thanks, Brendan.
How's the East Coast treating you?
Yeah, not too bad at the moment. It's pretty good. Yeah, as Brendan says, I was an Adelaide boy originally with these fellas, but I am now in Sydney, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, I think that also comes back to when I found out about Bluey, because I came back to Adelaide for a catch up with everyone. And I'm a new dad, so I've got a daughter. She's about 9 months old. And we're coming back and we're talking to all the parents, and everybody's like, "Have you watched? It's really good." No, it's not really good. It's good to have like Australian content.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to see what this is. Like, I think I'd actually seen an episode on the TV. I think I'd seen one of the episodes where they go to the pool.
Yeah. Second
like
episode.
Slightly captivated, and you just kind of like, okay, all right. But then I think it was while I was on holiday. My daughter just doesn't sleep. She just wasn't sleeping. So like there I am in the middle of the night, like going through episode, holding her over my shoulder, going through episode after episode, and just getting completely enthralled by it, and then coming back and desperately talking to Threnk about it, just unpicking it.
Oh man,
endlessly, and just talking about the brilliant details and stuff like that. So
I did a similar thing. Like it was one of those things where everyone's telling you about it. But of all the events where heaps of people told me about stuff and I went and saw it and being like, oh, that's why. This is probably the most standout because I was like, oh, yeah, it's just, it is the primo case of I should have listened to people sooner. But Marty, I think we actually have you to credit for the theme of this first episode because, Frank planted the seed for the podcast after he realized that, we all love the show and we love the idea. And so we were talking about how should we go about it. And we thought we'd, keep it light, keep it loose, maybe pick an episode, have a bit of a discussion. And then Marty actually said, guys, for the intro episode, should we just discuss the intro, like the title sequence, because there's actually enough going on in there that it would be a shame not to mention it. So that's what we can like focus on today first. But first, I thought it would be a cool idea to touch on how, and Marty did so already, like sort of how we were introduced to the show. I personally, like, these two fellas are proud fathers. I have not yet been blessed. I'm one of 7 kids though, and I'm the only one who's not married with kids. So I have 14 nieces and nephews, and so my introduction to Bluey was only a matter of time. And my sister was telling me, Brandon, you got to see it. And I thought, yeah, I love, lots of kids shows, really like them all. But the first episode I saw was what was it? It was Takeaway, and after that I just went, okay, this is pretty. And then the pool episode that you mentioned, Marty, and this is my problem. I just want to go into this bit, but no, we'll get into it in good time. We'll get to it. We're talking about the intro now, Brennan. Just settle down. But yeah, Frank, like, can you remember how you came across it, or who recommended Bluey to? We know you recommended it to Marty, and I didn't know that, but full credit to you because you got to spread the word, spread the good word. But can you, like, what was the first episode you saw? Paint the picture for me.
Yeah, I'm really trying to remember. I mean, here we are in 2021. The show's 2 seasons in. The show started in 2018, if you go back to that first episode. So it's been around perhaps longer than most of us sort of give it credit for. Mm-hmm. I don't actually... I think it was basically we were in desperation seeking something that wasn't the Wiggles, in fairness, because my son is, as much as he doesn't take in a lot of, the morals of the story or what they're actually singing about, it's the colours and the music for him. And we're going, look, there's got to be some other Australian content out there. Look, probably, I think my wife does a lot of those, sort of mum groups on Facebook for sort of tips and advice. And I believe she actually saw it in there originally. Someone mentioned about this show Bluey and dogs and stuff. And she goes, oh, well, we've got 2 dogs in real life, and we're trying to sort of, my son was a little bit sort of standoffish at first. He doesn't know what these giant furry things are. And so, an Australian show about dogs. How bad could it possibly be? We didn't think how good could it possibly be. So that's, I think, how we first came across it. I'm trying to think of the first episode I saw. Wow, that's a question, because I've seen... I reckon I've seen the whole series through multiple times now. It's my son's standard, get up in the morning, it's 5, I just need a half hour to sort of get my wits about me. Let's put an episode of Bluey on, and the episode's only being 7 or 8 minutes long. We'll rip through the entire season in a month or so. I have a favorite episode, but I guess that's not what the question was.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize how hard it would be because they go through rotation on the old our ABC iView streaming service. You know, sometimes they come on, sometimes they take those ones off, and there seems to be a bit of a random selection of what's available. So yeah, it's hard to know when they were. And actually, I think there are. Not to correct you, but I think there are 3 seasons now because the third season dropped in October 2020.
I think what you'll find is they release the seasons in halves.
Oh,
so
I see.
One season is 52 eps long, and they'll do it in half. That here's the first.
Gotcha.
Whatever half of 52 is. I'm not a maths person.
It's a good thing that I said, well, not to correct you because I didn't.
You did not correct it. No, and so what you are right. There was a whole bunch of new eps that dropped in October of last year. But they were basically from season 2, episode 33 or whatever it is, all the way to 52. So,
well, there we are. We're only a few minutes into a blokey podcast.
You've already learned something,
and we've already expressed the dangers of mansplaining. Oh well, before I could talk about like the origin of my Bluey experience and how incredible it is that no matter who I talk to, like I haven't met someone who doesn't just go, oh, isn't it just really something special? Yep. So hence this, we had to do it. If we didn't have microphones in front of us, we would be catching up talking about this show anyway, because it just seems to be what's become of us, and like how can you complain? But about that intro, I just think like it's the first thing you see. And it's so catchy, and like I had to have it pointed out to me what's actually going on
place,
there. Yeah. I'm ashamed to say I didn't figure it out for myself. Did you catch on to what's happening, Frankie?
I did organically after a while, and it was basically Marty. I don't want to spoil it. Marty, tell us what's taking place in the intro.
Well, it's musical statues.
Yeah, musical statues.
Yeah.
Is there different? Is there different names for musical statues or something like? But
international names.
International, I don't know, but that's
like
what
musical chairs without the chairs.
Without the chairs, yeah, musical stand up. But no, that's what we always called it when the music stops and poor mum, she's
first one out.
She's first to go.
And then Bandit gets a little bit carried away. He's getting those old moves out from when he was hitting the D floor, and then he's just like, "What, Dad? You're next. See you later."
Do you and Bandit share some moves, Marty?
Probably. No, I don't know if I could do them anywhere near as well as he does, because he's got like, what is it, the sprinkler.
Yep.
I think the last one's like the funky chicken.
Yes. I think that's the one that catches him out, actually.
Correct.
So it's just like, so many different things going on. I think just in terms of the intro as a whole, it's just this. Because, like you were saying, the reason why I suggested it is just it is 30 seconds of every 7-minute episode.
Yep.
And it is captivating. And it does, we were sort of going through the different characters, it's got Dad, doing the funky moves. It's got Bingo doing like very small animation, bumpy sort of style stuff. The dumpier movements that are just perfect and articulate the character.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I think Bingo only loses out because she basically loses her balance when the music stops. She does the right thing. But she's on one leg at the time, and then she's like, oh Bingo.
Chilly, classic mum getting involved and just going a bit and then Dad's like, haha, Mum, you're out, and I'm just and then
doing my thing.
And then he just gets he gets tunnel vision, he gets too into it. But Bluey's Bingo's still on board, but it's the balance thing, the poor little.
Don't you love it?
And that's just like such a nice little character touch. That's like the nature of Bingo, just like trying really hard, and just sometimes something's a little bit too hard.
Yeah, and I was just actually, it's funny that happened just today because my living arrangement isn't totally unlike an episode of Full House these days because my youngest sister Erin, who is as big, maybe bigger fan of the show than me, but we'll duke that out later. But I live with her and her husband and their little one, and their little one is 2 in April, and I could tell she was getting sleepy tonight. Her name's Nora, and she was like doing like her energy levels weren't down or anything because she was still like, hey, life, but she would be
Hey,
like
life.
doing things and just like falling over, like she'd be watching Bluey or like playing with this big inflatable bird and then like standing on the cat, and then like she'd just lose her balance and just look confused as to, hang on,
Well, that doesn't normally happen.
I was doing exactly this thing earlier in the day and my balance was fine. What's going on? So poor Bingo suffering from that sub 5-year-old balance blues, I suppose.
Yeah, and what if you look at the intro holistically? It here's the main characters. Here's Mum. Here's Dad. Here's Bingo. Here's Bluey as your title character, and they're just a family of 4 dogs having a good time. Now, if that doesn't sum up the show in a sentence, then I don't know what does. Like
Efficiency.
And it's a game. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like, there's so much of the show is about play and games.
And when Bingo, the youngest, is called out, she's like, oh, you know, Mum picks her up, it's all happy, go, and that's like the style of their family as well, because, you know, you get a bit older, you learn different family dynamics, and you see your friends have kids, and you see your family members have kids, and you look at different people's parenting styles. But in the show, I love that there's a show about parenting and about those kind of attitudes. And look at me, I mean, this is the first time I'll call myself out, and it won't be the last, but I'm not a parent, and so I can't really speak on educationally on these subjects. But, you know, it's just so good to see that there's you know, sources out there like this show that kids are watching and families are watching together that are promoting these ideas. Anyway, I could go on, but it's just
and
you
did.
Yeah, and I did. Get used to it, people.
But yeah, that's exactly it. To call it a kids show is doing a little bit of a disservice, really, because it has those, you know, sharing is important type values that are just not subtle at all. But then there's, and it's usually at sort of the midpoint or the last sort of wrap up of the episode, there's this lesson for mum or dad, or this second message or moral where, as an adult, even you don't have to be a parent to appreciate it. You sit there and go, oh, right in the heart. Like, I feel that. Like, you know, it's just incredible writing.
Yeah, it's so nice.
And I think...
Oh, sorry, you go, Marty.
For me, in terms of, like, you know, it's not just a kid's show, is the quality of the animation and just the detail and those sorts of things. And that's something that comes through endlessly for me in the intro sequence. Obviously, you know, they've planned it out very carefully because it's something they know it's going to be seen over and over again. But it's this incredibly juicy animation. There's always something new and different to watch in that just 30-second clip. And just you get those. I just love when Mum gets out, she's got this just little stand and wiggle animation.
Can I dob our mutual friend Geordie in? Can I dob him in here? He was watching it with his beautiful wife Anna. They were in the room when their young ones were watching it. And Geordie was like watching Chili, and she gets called out, and she goes, oh, and rolls her eyes, and she gets up, and she's just got this little wiggle, like she's still there, and she's involved. And I'm probably gonna misrepresent this story, but you know, I've got a microphone and he doesn't. But he says to Anna, he says, oh, you know, like, look at Chili, she's just doing this little wiggle thing afterwards, and Anna's like, do you love her? and Geordie's like, maybe. Hey, you know, you could do worse than Chili Healer, I'm just saying.
And then you've got like the spin into the Toyota "Oh What a Feeling" type stuff at the end.
Well, yes.
It's just something. Yeah.
Just if you know, come to me and say, "Hey, Brendan, do you want to be on a podcast talking about Bluey?" If you needed anything else to get me there, it's like people starting to mention Toyotas. You already had me, Marty. You didn't need a.
Coming soon from the Brendan Network, Brendan and his Toyota.
So, 2001 HD 78 non-turbo tube carrier. So, just saying, 1HZ engine, it'll run forever.
I do have to shout out, as much as this, you know, has been attributed to my idea to start this show, I will give full credit to the Gotta Be Done podcast by a couple of lovely ladies out of Melbourne. I heard their show first, and I listen to that quite regularly. And they're great. I think they're both journalists by trade, so they speak very, very well. And I was sort of inspired by that. And, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. They are well ahead of us in terms of episode counts and that, obviously, and experience. But we're going to have a good time anyway. So, yes, shout out. If you kind of like Bluey and you found us, go have a listen to the Gotta Be Done podcast. A great name as well. I can't stress that enough.
It's gotta be done.
Gotta be done.
Nice. Wackadoo.
Should we talk about where the Hammerbar name comes from?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's
good
something
call.
might not be clear.
Yeah,
On,
we haven't got to that episode yet, but we will. No, I mean, in contrast to those lovely ladies that Frank just mentioned, we thought, what do we like? We're men. We like.
What do we bring to the table that's different?
And
Chromosome, yeah.
Hammerbarn, of course, is. I don't want to mention another very popular chain of hardware stores across this nation, but it's. I think it might be a little cheeky.
Does it rhyme with Schnozzer Warehouse? Makes your face grouse.
Oh, that's a deep cut. Nice. Maybe I'll spin the final. What is it? The final dig. Maybe I'll spin that when I get home.
Cricket reference for those who are playing at home.
But the cricket references in this show are rife. I love them.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Pat from next door, Lockie's down. Anyway, no.
Getting too far ahead.
Hammerbarn,
focus.
Hammerbarn. No, Hammerbarn seems to be the place that has everything that is there. There shows little wink to hardware store that I do like to frequent. And yeah, we thought, a couple of lads, we like to work with our hands. We like to, do it ourselves. And I think we love our hardware store as much as Bandit loves his. And so the Hammerbarn project seemed fitting.
If you want to skip ahead and check out that episode, I believe it's season 2, episode 10 thereabouts.
Oh man, why would I need Wikipedia?
I've gone through the series many times, as I said before. So yeah, and it's it's that in itself is a great episode, and yeah, that's kind of where we've landed on for our name and logo, and we had a bit of fun putting all that together.
I mean, I've made the point very well just by my rants that I'm just so eager to talk about episodes. We thought we'd do this intro one. Is there anything we're missing, guys? Is there anything like had anybody noticed anything else about? I mean, every time I watch it, I notice something else, and it's this intro, this title sequence of the show. It's the first thing you see, and I've seen umpteen episodes as you boys have as well. Mm-hmm. And every time it comes on, it doesn't make me any less excited now. Just go, an episode of Bluey's on. That tune comes in, and it's just, yeah.
I'll tell you one little story related to that famous little tune that we all know. And I was at work, and basically something hilarious, comedically bad had happened, and it was a bit of a circus, right? And so everyone just sort of, the person who had created this drama left our office, and there's me and about 3 other guys who all sit within sort of 6 feet of each other. And I turned back to my desk and just went, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, in my head, what I was going to do was to play that classic circus tune. But it came out as the Bluey song, and I just sort of stopped. And while still looking at my screen, my workmates all looking at theirs, all I hear from over my left shoulder was that the Bluey song?
Nice.
And then I explained, I was like, I was going for a circus thing, and it came out as that. And my mate just went, whose son is about 5 years old, and he went, I don't know what's worse, is that you accidentally sung the Bluey song, or I recognised it.
I don't know what's worse, but I know what's better. You're about to make a cynical comment about your work being a circus, and you make some serendipitous accident, and then you meet a fellow Bluey fan.
Exactly.
And so it was me. Even when you weren't home with ABC TV, it was fighting the good fight for you at work, mate. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're either a Bluey fan or you have not seen the show. And so I'm gonna have to catch myself out and not, before I get too far ahead of myself and want to talk about episode. Please stick around with us and keep in tune with us, because we're gonna be. There'll be time for that, Brendan. There'll be time for that to talk
We'll get there.
episodes. But I might say, this has been a great introduction to me doing a podcast. Thanks for having me on, Frank.
Absolutely, mate.
And I'm going to have a lot of fun. But thanks, Marty, for joining us all the way over in Sydney.
No worries.
Thank you for tuning in. I guess we'll see you at Hammer Barn around about aisle 300. If you see the pink flamingos, you've gone too far.